Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Corcoran Entertainment show. I'm your host, Franky Corcoran. Sorry, I was just chewing gum and I fucking spit it out. Great to be here. Hope you guys had a great St. Patrick's Day. Hope you didn't get too drunk. Hopefully you guys didn't get too rowdy and just had a good time. Always lots going on that weekend. Had lots of corned beef and cabbage, I hope. And now we're just... It's not like any other holiday where it's like now we're getting back and it's just like it comes and goes. But anyways, before we start the show today, I just want to plug a little something here. The St. James and St. John United Church. I'm taking part in their upcoming dessert theater, Heavens to Murgatroyd. It is a dessert theater, April 5th, 6th, and 7th at the United Church Center, 556 King George Highway. Show starts at 7 p.m., but the doors open at 6:30. And it's a great show, really, really great show. Tickets are $20. You can get them at the United Church Center, Dickinson's Farmer Save, or Brookdale's Flower Shop. And the phone number for the reservations are 506-622-1598. And it's a great show. We're doing we're in rehearsals now, and it's a great time. I'm having a great time with it, and we'd love to get a good crowd. And so let's fill the house. There's a little plug for that. And the next thing to plug is, well, what our guests today are going to talk about, the third annual Beaubears Island Sugar Bush. And I'm not going to give details about that. I'll let our guests give that information out. Our guests today are Neil Wallace and Naomi Wallace, father-daughter duo, who are, basically the brains behind this operation. And I've worked with them, of course, many times. Naomi's been on the podcast. Neil's been on the podcast many times. And they talk about the upcoming Sugar Bush that is this Saturday, and they'll give out all the details on that. I don't want to speak for them, so I will just stop talking about that until the interview. And later in the show, for our solo segments, I want to talk about the Batman 2 is delayed to 2026, which, is what it is, I guess. And this whole Robert Downey Jr. Oscars controversy, which, is a little interesting. There's always something going on with the Oscars with controversy. But anyway, we'll talk about that when we get around to it. Anyways, guys, without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Corcoran Entertainment show. I'm your host, Franky Corcoran, and today I am joined by, as I put in the episode description, a dynamic father-daughter duo. I guess that's one way to put it. Neil's like, nah, I wouldn't put it that way. Neil's just like father-daughter, it's fine. We have Neil Wallace and Naomi Wallace. How are you guys?
Hi.
We're good, thanks.
Great to have you guys on. So you guys have been on here before, so it's not your first rodeo. But I just want to ask you first, Naomi. When I asked you about this episode, I said, hey, we were talking about, coming on to talk about the Sugar Bush, and I said, how about this date? And you're like, yeah, sure. Let me ask Neil what he thinks. And I'm like, do you just talk to Neil like he's just, really, that's your dad? And is that how you talk to him at home? Neil, I would need to drive home. Good night, Neil. Night, Mom. Like, is that how it is between you guys or what?
No, I think it's just a funny thing that I started doing. Like, I call him Dad when I'm talking directly to him, but if I'm talking about him or if I'm talking about my mom, it's Neil and Jill. Like, if I'm talking to my friends, it's Neil and Jill. Like, and I think maybe that started because we are actually on the Friends of Beaubears Island board together. So oftentimes we're having like impromptu Beaubears Island meetings over supper. Or I'm getting business emails and I go downstairs and I'm like, hello.
Good morning, Neil. How are you today? It's not like I just saw you like 2 seconds ago when we ate supper.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. And then my mom has to listen to it.
I'm just picturing like how the family dinners go, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then, okay, Naomi, take out the trash, okay? All right. Hi, nice to meet you. How are you? Like, like is that
Um,
how it is with you guys, Neil? Is that how it is? Like, what's it like? Because you guys basically work together too, in a weird way. What's it like? Of course, working with your daughter, but then also living with your daughter. How has it
Interesting.
strengthened your relationship? How has it how has it made it worse? How would you describe it?
Ooh, oh heck.
See, I stumped
Deep
him. He's like, oh,
questions here. I wasn't expecting that. Oh, we get along.
except for the other day when I was asking him to do something for
Oh,
business and he
yes.
was watching his show on TV and he got really mad at me.
well, let him do his
I don't
thing.
I don't
What were you
even know
watching?
I don't even know.
I'm not even sure if I was watching something. I was doing something else. Yeah. Anyway, these things happen.
Anyway,
Yes.
and I got a message from Sean, shout out Sean McCarthy, big Beaubears freak, and and I was
Not like
like,
he
hey,
worked
so
there for 10 years or anything. Like,
so I was like, what do I say? Like, and Dad got so mad at me. He was like he was obviously in like not work mode, like he was obviously in like fun watching TV or scrolling on Facebook mode. Anyway, so sometimes I push his buttons a little bit, but
but I think that's what we all do. Like, that's just normal. You know what I mean? Like, it's that's how I see it anyway. I mean, it'd be like a married couple going to work together and then coming home at night and it's just like, ah, yeah, did you do the dishes? Well, why not? Like, and then it just, that's just what it, working with family stuff like that is bound to happen, I guess. But it's great though that you guys do get along well. You know what I mean? Like, you guys have such a strong bond. Yeah, there you go. The heart. You guys got such a strong bond and everything. And I always just found it so funny that Naomi's just like, so yeah, yeah, I think Neil and Jill might be coming. I'm like, you mean your mom and dad? Yeah, Neil and Jill.
but it's always Jill and Neil.
Or Jill and
So
Neil,
that
one of the
sounds
two.
better. It sounds better.
Either or works. Or the Wallaces. Just say the Wallaces.
No, that's weird to me.
Why is that
Or
weird?
I'll say like mummy and daddy. Like sometimes I say that.
Are you Caillou? Mommy and daddy.
Or else like me and mummy went to the store or like but I usually say me and Neil went to I don't know.
Maple syrup.
Yeah, maple syrup.
maple syrup.
He's like, get back on topic, back on topic. So, of course, we're here to talk about the sugar bush, is what we're going to talk about. But before we dive into that, I was kind of, so like Neil and Naomi, I've known you guys both for many years. Neil, how did you get started with Beaubears and stuff like that? I think it's been a while since I've heard how you got involved. Like, I knew I started there back in 2016, and you were already pretty deep into Beaubears at the time. How did you get started with it?
We got here in 2009, and well, we were staying at the governor's mansion at the time, and the visitor centre was just down the road. And we walked past it a couple of times and thought, we must come into this place once it's open, because we've always been interested in history and reenactment and stuff like that. And so when the place was open, we popped our heads in, took a shine to the stuff that was going on in there, and been involved ever since, really.
That's wild. So, like, you went up to Sean, just said, "Hey, could I be on the board?" Is that how it happened, or there's a big process to it?
I never really expected to be on the board. I lose track of when I finally ended up on there. Was it 2017, 2017, 2016? Somewhere around about there. It was quite a long time ago now, but I was just on the board because it was low on numbers, and Sean said, we need someone to join. Neil, would you do it? So I joined, never expecting to work my way up the ranks.
Now you are Beaubears. They're gonna cross out Beaubears Island and put Neil Wallace Island. That's what it's gonna be called now. Pretty soon.
Let's get a little boat, go round and round the island and shoot people off it. Not that that's been done.
Well, speaking of boat, you guys have a boat, don't you guys? You guys have a boat?
Well, Naomi has a boat.
Naomi has a boat.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. I remember when you told me that. You're like, yeah, Naomi's boat. I'm like, wait, hold on. Naomi's boat? What is this? Tell me about this boat.
When I turned 16, you know, most people when they turn 16, they buy a car.
But you can
I
buy
did
me
not
a
do
boat.
that. Yeah, so I saved up all my money and I just was dead set. I wanted to buy a sailboat and I did. So yeah, I got a really good deal on it. So it was $2,000.
Oh,
So
still, that's pretty good though. I
I
still
know.
remember it was just how casual your dad was in the conversation. Yeah, and and Naomi's boat. She took her boat out. I said, wait, her boat? What are you talking about? Her boat? She got a boat? What the hell? And you were like grade what 11 at the time or something like that. I
Oh
was
my
like, wow.
gosh. I think so. I think I was. I got it summer grade 10, maybe.
Who's that
I
in the
don't know.
background? Is that Jill in the background? Jill, come on,
Yeah.
it's okay.
That's me. Sorry.
Just trying to remember.
No, it's okay,
Tom.
Jill. Come on, come on. It's okay.
No. I'm a purely a bystander. I'm the ghost in the background.
No, it's audio only, so it's okay. Feel free to come on. It's all right. Don't be shy. Just the offer's
No.
there.
I'm good.
Oh, it's okay. She's camera shy. You wouldn't think it though. Jill is camera shy.
No, I prefer to be in the background.
She's our producer.
Making all the goodies.
Yes, there we go. She's our producer. Jill
I'm
is
a
our.
doer, not a talker.
That's it. Exactly. You're the best. Well, shout out to Jill Wallace, by the way. She's the best. And then,
Hi, folks.
bye. Have a good one. We'll see you again. Or hear you again. Yeah, Neil, of course. So, going onto the board, and then now it's like it feels like you like Beaubears is partying now basically too, and you've also done a lot of the acting as well too. Were you always an actor? Like was that something that you always anticipated you would try someday, or how did that come about? I actually never really asked you. Like, did you have interest in it like before coming here, or was it just one of those things where you're doing a play about William Davidson and it just came up?
A terrible memory, but I'll give it a go here. I think I wrote my first play when I was about 5, and I had half a dozen other kids in it. And I seem to recall I was making bits of armor out of cardboard and paper clips and stuff like that. I can't remember what the play was, but I wrote a play back then. And I don't think I was really on the stage as such until I was about 14. And then I got involved in school shows and had far too much fun.
And it just stuck with you.
Once I left school and I started working down in the south of Britain, I fell in with the crowd of gamers who were also reenactors, and they dragged me along to that. So reenactment, it's acting. You're playing the parts of people in history, and so the two have mingled like that over the years.
Yeah, it all kind of worked out like that. Naomi, how about you? I mean, like I still remember, because we talked about this the last time you were on here back in the fall, when I still remember you way back in the day when you were like, what, 10 years old, and you're just like, I need Naomi, and I like to act and this and that, and that's how we met. And then now here you are now, and you're on the board. Did you ever anticipate that in a million years?
No, I really didn't. Well, it was basically the same situation that happened with Dad, was that they were just low on numbers, and I think I like unofficially joined the board because you have to be 18 to be on a board of directors for a nonprofit charity. I think I unofficially joined the board when I was like 17 or 17. And then I went to all the meetings and stuff for like 3 months until my birthday, when then I instantly became the secretary. So I guess maybe that's the perks of having your dad as the chair of the board.
It's not nepotism, it was desperation.
She's like, can I join the board? Sorry, you're not old enough. Well, do you know who I am? Do you know who my father is? Oh, Neil's daughter. Of course. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We will take care of that for you. We welcome aboard. That's how it went. Be honest.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny. Okay. I am actively being on the podcast right now, but I did get distracted and I was scrolling through the old Beaubears Island photos, and I know no one can see this at all, but I just want to show Franky. It is a picture of when Sean was, I forget what play it was. But
Peter Mitchell.
Dad just sees it.
Peter Mitchell play.
It was the Mitchell play, and Dad is wearing a wig in this picture. It looks very funny.
But the thing is, Neil, when you wear a wig, it just feels right. Like it just like no, I mean like it fits like a glove. I remember you walked in one time. I think it was, what play was it that we were doing? I think it was that play with John Bosma, the one, the what was it called? I can't remember the name of it. The demonstration and the horror, the vacuum cleaner repairman, and you were doing the monster mash, and you you walked into practice one day, and it was the first time I had seen you in a while. I'm like, oh my God, Neil's hair. Oh my God, he changed his hair, and then he just casually just pulled it off with, oh, it's a wig. But it was just so natural. I was like, wow, that is crazy.
It was that grey wig. That's definitely the best one I've got. It looks a bit more natural.
It also thickened up quite a lot when he changed his hair. It actually magically got more voluminous too. Slightly less sparse.
That'd be a fun prank to play on Jill. Have you played that on Jill? Like, hey Jill, look, do you like my new hairstyle? And
been there, done that.
That's it. We usually go through the wigs beforehand.
Oh, fair enough. Well, Jill's like your agent. Like Jill, well, it's so funny because like whenever any play that you guys do with me, like of course we did Death Cost Dearly last year, and we did a couple other things. Jill always knows the whole script before I think anybody else in the cast. Like she's always just like the inside person, and she's also a great person to run lines with, get feedback from. Jill, how does that feel? I'm just
Good fun. Like the read through from the Playhouse Quarrel was fun.
Yes, that's right.
It was good seeing it on stage and seeing a different take to what our read through would be, because obviously most of the cast were different. So that was quite good fun.
We were all dotted around the house because all three of us were doing it.
I locked myself in the spare bedroom so that we didn't get feedback on the two different feeds. Thankfully, Starlink did cope with two people doing the read through at once. Thank you, Elon, if you're listening.
You're listening, Elon Musk.
But Neil, going back to Neil and his kind of amateur dramatics at school, various different things, he seems to have fallen into reenactment by a back door and did it for a good few years, different time periods, English Civil War, Anglo-Saxon, Viking, right the way through.
Roman.
And then we got together 24 years ago, and I said, no, it's not for me. And 3 weeks later, it was either, well, you got to beat them or join them. And there was no beating them down because they're Vikings. So I had to join in. But my interest is slightly different to his interest in it. What we do like is researching the history. And this is where it comes back. And I'm going to circle around to maple syrup, which is what you're supposed to be talking about. So I'm going to circle back to that, in that the authenticity of things, the history of things, is more accessible to people if they see it. It's like watching the Vikings series on TV, or watching Peaky Blinders, or what, people really get into it when they see a character. And of course, Sean McCarthy's stuff is always really well researched and hilariously funny. Yep. Same with yours. And that is a big part of it, is it's kind of entertainment, but it's education and history at the same time.
Edutainment.
So it's edutainment. And if people get sugar high on maple syrup, so be it.
So be it.
Yes, exactly. Jill could just be my co-host.
Yeah, Neil has done quite a lot of stuff over the years with BBC and a couple of independent TV companies in the UK. He's on one version of, there's a documentary on one version of a Russell Crowe DVD which was Master and Commander from about 15 years ago, maybe a little more.
Yeah, wasn't long before we came away.
And one of the versions has a documentary on it that Neil is in.
Wow.
Was that the one where you almost wrecked £40,000 worth of camera equipment?
No, I think that was a different. That was a time
one.
team one.
Yeah, that's another story.
Yes, that's another story. Yes.
We have lots of time here. I mean, it's a podcast. I'd love to hear about it.
Well, I can let you know that one briefly.
Yeah.
We're on the deck of the Trincomalee. It's an old British Navy ship, square rigger, and the series was for Time Team. They were having to dig up the bodies from a field outside one of the naval hospitals because they'd sold the field to be built on for houses. And they were making the most of digging up all these bodies of sailors who had been in the hospital who had died. Digging up the bodies, they could find all sorts of examples of the sort of stressful work that they were doing. And there was a number of them that had sort of wear and tear on their knees. And they weren't 100% sure where this came from. But doing a bit of research, it started to dawn on them. One of the things they had to do regularly on the ship was hone the deck. The deck planks, if they're out in the sun all the time, they shrink. And as they shrink, water gets through. So you have to keep the deck planks wet all the time. But if you keep them wet all the time, you start to get algae growth on there as well. So a number of the ship's crew have to get down on their knees and scrape the deck of the ship with these, what they called them holy stones, the honing stones. So you're down on your knees, rubbing backwards and forwards on the deck. And another sailor every so often throws a bucket of water on there as well. So you're just grinding away on the planks. Now, this one director thought it'd be great to get a really close-up shot of the honing action going on. So there I was down on my knees, grinding backwards and forwards on the deck with this £20,000 HD camera just inches ahead of me. I just happened to pull back and start going forward as the other sailor sent a whole bucket full of water onto the deck. And of course, I just drove it like a snowplow straight ahead of me into this £20,000 HD camera. The whole deck went quiet. The cameraman shot off into the distance with his camera and stripped it down. And everyone started laughing apart from me because I felt guilty as hell. So that's the story.
Oh, well, you feel guilty now, but you can laugh about it now. That was how many years ago?
And they got the last laugh in the end because they got a wonderful shot of my ball patch on the top while I was grinding away on the deck.
That's why he sometimes wears a wig on stage.
That's why. Oh my goodness. That's
wearing a wig at the Sugar Bush.
No, I won't. I'll be wearing a hat.
Which is on the 23rd.
I love how Jill just keeps circling back. She's almost like, oh my God, get this podcast over with. Just talk about the goddamn Sugar Bush.
Well, it is a sweet subject to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, I'm building up to it, but we're getting pretty close to it. As soon as you hinted at the story with Neil on the ship, I said I gotta ask first because I'm gonna be wondering about it for the whole podcast. So, Neil, the Sugar Bush. This is what, the third annual Sugar Bush, correct?
It is. Yes, going back to times in the past, Sean and I had talked about it as an idea for probably a couple of years beforehand, because Jill, Naomi, and I, all three of us were regularly going down to King's Landing to the Sugar Bush there and seeing how popular it was and how much money they were making for the organization down there. And we all thought to ourselves, really, there should be one in Miramichi. And we are a big historical setup here at Friends of Beaubears in the Interpretive Centre. So why don't we do one here? So yes, 3 years ago, we finally got round to it. And I think that first one, we probably had a couple hundred people come through. And the second one, we had over 400 people come through. So who knows how many we're going to have this time?
I'm predicting 800. 800.
Well, if we run out of maple syrup, we'll run out of maple syrup.
It is what it is. It
is what it is, yes.
Oh, Naomi, what can you say? What's your plug? I mean, I'm like halfway there, convinced of going. But I think your pitch can also maybe get me up to 100%. I'll be there. Give me a good pitch, okay? And then maybe I'll go, and maybe the audience will come too. Actually, well, I mean, they're all gonna come anyway. But why should people come to the Sugar Bush? By the way, Naomi was on Rewind 95.9 and she did a terrific job. So she's on a high at the time of this recording. That was a week ago. So you guys probably missed it, but go online and you can find her interview. But this is a podcast, so you are not under any time constraints. Talk as long as you want. And we're out of time. No,
Oh man, maybe next time. No,
next time.
So why should people come to the Sugar Bush? Well, we're celebrating a Canadian tradition, and I would say it's one of the most famous Canadian traditions, because Canada is just known for maple syrup. It's on the flag. Why would you not go? Maple taffy tastes really good. Maple cookies, maple fudge tastes really good too. And get this, we have historical actors from Friends of Beaubears Island, which is Dad, and we have Sean McCarthy playing Cletus the lumberjack from Character Matters Miramichi, and we will also have our lovely Kate Berry. I don't know who she's playing, but she was one of our lovely staff in the summer, and we're so excited to have her back. So we have actors and sweet treats and also kids games, but if you're a kid at heart, I think you can also play these games as long as you are safe and you don't beat the kids too badly. Because I played the tug of war last year, and my team won, so not to brag or anything.
Your head's getting way too big about this. You're just like, yeah, I won the What are your biggest accomplishments in life? I won the tug of war at the Sugar Bush.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was a pretty big deal for me. So kids games, and also we have door prizes, and one of them should be pretty big. So we're waiting to announce that one. By the time this is out, it will already be announced, but I don't want to say anything right now because just check out our Facebook page in 1 week, I think.
Tell me now, and I'll release this episode early before the announcement. I'm just kidding.
No. Okay. So door prizes, some of them are going to be pretty awesome. I'm actually looking at one of them right now, but you can't see because it's audio only. And also we're going to have little treat bags for the kiddies, and it should be a good way to bring the whole family. And if you don't have kids, it's fine. If you do have kids, it's fine. Like, it's literally for everyone. Why would you not?
Is it for dogs?
Sure.
Yeah.
Bring your dog, bring your cat,
Bring Ozzy.
bring your
I'll bring Ozzy.
yeah, bring your parrot. But also they can't make donations at the door. So maybe
Just say
you
bring
should
your
bring a
parent?
human instead.
Bring your parent or a parrot?
Parrot.
Okay,
Like-
all right.
Like, Polly want a cracker?
Sugar Bush, bro. Polly wants a maple syrup.
Yeah. So why would you not? And I was also on the radio and on the podcast. So that means that it must be good, right?
After we're done with this, she's going on Joe Rogan.
No.
And she's doing a world tour. Like, this is a big deal. But I'm super
I will
excited though
actually-
for this. Like,
I'll be on the cover of Vogue too. The cover of Vogue with like my maple syrup. I'll like pose. I'll be like this. You can't see me, but I'm not going to describe what I just did for the listeners at home.
who said maybe I will put this video version out? Who knows? I mean, you never know what I'm gonna do now. Oh, I'm just kidding. I won't do that to you.
No,
I'm not wearing pants right now, so I'm not.
We didn't want to know that.
This is a podcast. I can literally wear anything I want. I can wear like, a little onesie. I can wear nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it's audio only. We can wear whatever we want.
Okay, let's keep her going.
Yeah, actually, we are starting to wrap up a little bit. We're going not overtime because I mean, it's a podcast. Podcast can go on however long you want. So we're going. See, you couldn't do this on the radio, right? Like you couldn't talk about this on the radio, right?
No way. We recorded it, like it wasn't live, but we recorded it. It took me 8 minutes. I was in and out of the radio station in 8 minutes.
The segment was what,
fast.
3?
What?
The segment was 3 minutes?
Yeah, I think it was about that. So it was just like hey, how are you? And Darcy's great. For everyone who knows Darcy McLaughlin, shout out Darcy McLaughlin if you are listening right now. But everyone who knows him, he is so awesome, so easy to work with. And he says, I love doing stuff like that. 1, because it's local, and 2, because then I don't have to come up with something to say on air.
No, he is the best.
Secrets are out everywhere.
He is the best. And this is, I think this is going to be super exciting. I'll certainly be there. So it's Saturday, March 23rd. I almost said 24th, but I'm like, no, okay. People show up on the 24th. Like, where is everybody? March 23rd. And it starts at what time? 12 to 4?
1 till 4. We
1 to 4.
We do have newcomer early access hour, which I'm just going to talk about really quick. We have a registration form, and the goal is to share our tradition with some new faces in our community. And it also gives them an opportunity to come together and make some connections in their community, and also meet each other and celebrate Canada. It's super fun. Going to be the same thing, except for they just get to do it earlier because they're awesome. And we had so many last year. I think we had 30 last year when I took everyone with the bridge project, which I'm not sure if I talked about with you, Franky. I feel like I don't think we did. No, maybe I didn't, but that was my senior year project, so I'm not going to talk about that. That was in the past. But we worked with ASDN and brought 30 newcomers to the Beaubears Island Sugar Bush for VIP treatment. So we decided to open it up to all newcomers in Miramichi because last year was partnered with ASDN, so it was student oriented. But we were like, why not? Let's just open her up. So if you're a newcomer and you're listening to this, please register to come to the VIP newcomer early access hour from 12 to 1 before the doors open to the public.
Oh, awesome. So, and now she's sticking her tongue out at me. I'm sorry. We're so goofy. You're like, yeah. So yeah, and thanks for coming. Stick your tongue out.
I just love to make faces. What can I say?
Fair enough. Maybe I should just put the video version now because it's just we're getting lots of laughs from what we're doing here today.
Maybe you'll have to.
I probably will have to.
So then I'll cover this because we're not sponsored.
It's a Dr. Pepper. We are not sponsored by them in the least. We are sponsored by Dr. Salt. I'm sorry, that was a bad dad joke. So guys, I was gonna say, I mean, we could talk on and on because I'm like, every time we see each other, we always talk on and on, but there's no time limits then. But because we are keeping the podcast fairly constrained, we will wrap this segment up here. But I will go to each of you, and if you have any final words as to, I don't know, like why people should come to the Sugar Bush and why you should go, yeah, just feel free to plug. Neil, we'll start with you. Any final words?
Just going back to what was said before, it makes a difference when you can actually see some of the history behind things. We can read books, we can look on Wikipedia, but I actually see people doing stuff and pulling out the sort of equipment that they were using at the time. It just makes you realize that there was a lot more work involved. So, yeah, come along and get a bit of education, then you can follow it up yourself afterwards as well.
And some edutainment. Naomi, how about you?
Yeah, I think absolutely what you said, Dad. But
oh my God, you called him Dad.
But
wait, Dad, who's that?
I think it's just a great I don't know, expression of Canadian culture, which I think is kind of a little bit funny, seeing as my family is not Canadian at all. But I'd say, like, you live here long enough and you just become Canadian. Like I'm a Canadian now. Like even if I'm not a citizen, I'm still a Canadian in my heart. So I just think it's such a great way to continue on a historical, very important tradition. Like it was learned by the settlers from the indigenous people. So it is very, very old tradition of the sugar bush. And I think it is just a lovely way to bring the community together and, I don't know, keep the tradition together and celebrate Canada.
Yes, absolutely. That's a great pitch. Okay, I'm sold. I'll be there. Guys, yes. So yeah, the third annual Sugar Bush, newcomers 12-1, and then 1-4 for everyone else. And this is at the Beaubears Island Interpretive Center. So definitely, guys, be sure come on out, have a great time. Bring the kids, bring the dogs, bring the cats, bring whatever, as long as it's it behaves and plays by the rules. So guys, thank you guys so much for coming on. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to the Sugar Bush. I was like, what else can I say?
Yep, thanks for having us.
Yeah, it was fun. This is great. I love being on your podcast, Franky.
It's pretty fun, yeah. And then as soon as we're done recording, finally we're done this shit.
Finally! I hate that Franky Corcoran.
Meanwhile, she's like, "We got a podcast again soon," and then I'm like, "Oh well, I have an opportunity for you," and you're just like, "Nah, I don't want to do that." But thank you guys so much, guys. We're going to take a short little break, but we will be right back. But until then, this is Franky, Naomi, and Neil Wallace signing off. Thank you. Oh, and Jill Wallace, by the way. She's somewhere behind the camera. I didn't hear her. Did she say bye?
Bye.
There she is. Yeah, there we go. All right. See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. That was Neil and Naomi Wallace promoting the third annual Beaubears Island Sugar Bush. So as we said in the interview, early access starts from 12-1, and then the regular event goes from 1-4, and that is at the Beaubears Island Interpretive Center at the Bicentennial Park. So admission is donation by the door, and we'd love to see a huge crowd. So thank you guys, Neil and Naomi, for coming on to talk about that. Always a pleasure chatting, and super excited for the Sugar Bush. So anyways, moving on to the solo discussion topics today. So of course, anybody who knows me knows that I'm a huge Batman fan. I love the games, I love the movies. The Dark Knight is still one of my top 5 movies of all time, and that's not just favorite movies. It's like, I think it's one of the greatest movies ever made. And so yeah, it's no secret that I love Batman. The Batman, of course, yeah, because there's so many different titles of it. The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson, that came out in 2022, was excellent. I mean, of course, I had my doubts. I thought Robert Pattinson would do a good job, but I was like, I'll wait till I see it. And it was excellent. I rewatched it again on Netflix there as soon as it came out on Netflix, and love it. It's just fantastic. My only critique was that it was a little too long. They could have shaved 20-30 minutes off it, but aside from that, I thought it was a great movie. One of the best Batman movies. It was the perfect Batman movie, like the tone and everything. And Paul Dano was a fantastic Riddler, and who played Catwoman? Zoe Kravitz, I think is her name. Yeah. She was excellent. Colin Farrell, I thought, was the show stealer for it, because I didn't even know that was Colin Farrell. I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna go on and see who played the Penguin. He was really good. I said, holy fuck, that's Colin Farrell. So fantastic, just overall, aside from the runtime. So yeah, it's easily in my top 5 like Batman movies. It was fantastic, and so given the box office success and the critic and audience reception, it was like a sequel was inevitable. And of course, it was announced that we are getting a sequel for it that was coming out or slated for 2025. Well, unfortunately, that's not the case anymore. We're gonna have to we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for it. So this is Empire Online has this article: The Batman Part 2 pushed back to 2026. take down the bat signal for now, bat fans, because Matt Reeves' follow-up to the Batman has been bat delayed. Fuck. But for a while now, the sequel has been expected to hit our screens in late 2025, which I think, from what I heard, it was October 2025, bringing Robert Pattinson back in the cowl as Bruce Wayne, continuing his more detective-focused take on The Dark Knight. But thanks to a reshuffle at Warner Bros., The Batman Part 2 officially has a new date, and it's moved back by a whole year. Per the new schedule, The Batman Part 2 is now expected to hit cinemas on October 2nd, 2026, meaning the sequel will finally arrive 4.5 years after the first film. In the meantime, fans can content themselves with the arrival of tie-in Max series The Penguin, bringing the return of Colin Farrell's gangster as he attempts to consolidate power in Gotham. That show is due to arrive on screens later in 2024, sure to keep interest in Reeves' Batverse going. So, and then talks a little bit about just some other stuff, Batman, the new James Gunn one with the DCU. So, yeah, it's... Like, look, here's the thing. Now, we don't have an exact reason why it was postponed. There's an article here from Superhero Hype, but I don't think this... I think this is just kind of speculation. So it says the Batman Part 2 delay reason reportedly revealed. So this is reportedly. And it said Jeff Snyder, insider Jeff Snyder, so who knows how reputable it is, said, yes, the strikes didn't help the Batman Part 2, but I hear a major part of its year-long delay is lack of available stages. While Warner Bros. Was figuring out timing, many spaces got booked. So, there, and that's the thing. Like, it's, I'm all about if it's delayed, sure. Like, it is what it is. You don't want it to get rushed or anything. Like, I remember, like, fans can often do this, where if something gets delayed, where it's so close, like 2025, obviously not till next year, but I mean, we were all looking forward to seeing the Batman 2 as soon as possible. But for me, I'm like, just, if they got to delay it for a bit, just to make sure it's perfect and everything. And I mean, maybe that's not the reason. Maybe, yes, there is some stuff going on behind the scenes. There was some speculation that the writer's strike had a thing with it. There's been people speculating that Matt Reeves is fucking the dog. I did hear some people saying that, oh, Matt Reeves is just, it's like, well, no, I mean, like, that could be, I don't know. But so that's the thing. The internet loves to jump to conclusions. That's, the internet, that's our job. We're supposed to be dramatic. But I think, I mean, if I had to speculate, like, again, it's hard for me to speculate because all we have to go by is Jeff Snyder, the insider, who's saying that lack of available stages. And I mean, you're doing a big movie like that, there's stuff that's going to happen. Pre-production, there's some stuff that's not going to work out the way you had hoped, and things get booked up and everything. Like, I deal with this stuff with plays, just a little amateur theater production. You know what I mean? Like, so with a big $1 billion movie, yeah, of course. I mean, like, stuff like that is bound to happen. So I don't think we should jump to conclusions yet on why it's delayed, because there was a lot of speculation. One of the leading ones before I read this article was that it was because of the strike. Although the insider did say, he said, yes, the strike didn't help. Like, that was just almost just more stress, basically. But the way I see it, I'm like, it gives them a whole year to make this perfect. Like, they're not going to rush it at this point because it's March 2024 now. It's not coming out till October 2025, or sorry, 2026. It was supposed to come out in 2025. And so I think that they got a whole year now. They can, perfect. Like, I'm not sure if the script is entirely written yet or what, but it gives them time if they have to polish up some things, they want to add some things, they want to take some things out. They got a whole extra year to do that. And I don't think, it should be rushed. I mean, really, there's not really a need for it because, like it said in the article, we're getting the Penguin series with Colin Farrell's or a Penguin, which I'm super excited about, actually. And that'll at least keep the momentum going. Like, people aren't just going to forget about the Batman 2, because if they had nothing between the first Batman and then the second one, And then they put the second one out. They're like, oh shit, that came out, really? But then again, it's Batman, so I mean, it's not like people are gonna. If it was a different franchise, like I don't know, what's a franchise? Like I don't know. It's a good question. Just some franchise that isn't as big or as ongoing as Batman. It'd be easy to forget, but because it's Batman, who the fuck's gonna forget Batman, right? So, anyways, I'm not worried about it at all. I know some people might be worried about, oh, does that mean production and script, it's not going to go as good? No, I have complete faith in Matt Reeves and the whole crew, and Robert Pattinson was a fantastic Batman. Not my favorite Batman, but he was still a great Batman. But I mean, it's hard to top Christian Bale and Michael Keaton. Like that's just, that's a given there. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on it. I'm not worried at all. I think it's going to be great. And I just think it just gives them more time to take some stuff out, add some stuff in, and because you don't want a rushed product. It's just like, okay, we said we wanted this in 2025, we're nowhere near, blah, 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 and just get it out, and it's not as good. I'd rather them just take their time with it and go from there. And plus, we will have the Colin Farrell Penguin show to tide us over till then. But definitely, guys, be sure to let me know your thoughts, social media, on all that stuff. Do you think the Batman 2 is going to be worth the wait now that we're waiting an extra year for it? Me personally, I think it's fine. Take as much time as you need because you can't rush art. I don't know what the exact saying they say for it is. You can't rush art, or you can't whatever. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on that. And so our last discussion topic today is something that, I'll be honest, I didn't know if I really wanted to talk about this because it's not, to me, it's not a big deal. To me, I don't see it as a big deal as people are saying. But then I'm like, you know what? I just said, screw it. I said, let's just talk about it. So I'm, of course, talking about the Robert Downey Jr., Ke Huy Quan controversy. I mean, to me, I think people are blowing up out of proportion. But for those of you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, so, of course, the Oscars last weekend, or the weekend before, I'm still recording this a little earlier, they, of course, Robert Downey Jr. won Best Supporting Actor. Oppenheimer swept everything, which, I mean, deservedly so. It's a great movie. But so it was presented by Ke Huy Quan. Yeah, that's how you say it. Because he won the previous year in 2023 for Everything Everywhere All at Once. So he presented Robert Downey Jr. with his. And so basically what happened was Robert Downey Jr. walked on stage to accept the award. Ke Huy Quan was the one who gave it to him. He takes the award, walks past Ke Huy Quan, but he proceeds to shake the hands of other people on stage. And so that's all it is. That's all it is. Did he physically assault Ke Huy Quan? No. Did he turn to him and say, like, you're an asshole or something like that? No. Like, and so, okay, look, was his behavior weird? Yes, maybe it was a little rude. He could have shook his hand. Why he didn't, I don't know. And I just find it so funny that we're analyzing this so severely. Because, like, here, I'm going to find this, like, so on Yahoo, it says, Robert Downey Jr., Emma Stone face backlash for ignoring Asian actors at the Oscars. And so Michelle Yeoh presented Emma Stone with hers, and this seems the same way. Like, it's how arrogant. He completely ignoring Key. People wrote, the more I see it, the angrier I get because Ke Huy Quan called his name with such pure excitement and appreciation, and then he does this. To me, it's not like, okay, look, I get it. Like, could they have? Could Robert Downey Jr. have turned around and said something to him? Yes, of course he could have, and he probably should have, because he was presented with the award, and Ke Huy Quan was so excited, like he was very Robert Downey Jr. all excited. And so, yes, I mean, like, he should have. Like, in that way, he should have. But I think people are blowing it up way out of proportion. Like, way out of proportion. You know what I think it is? Because the Chris Rock and Will Smith thing was so big, that people are just trying to find, okay, how can we... Because the Oscars last year, nothing bad happened. It was the first year after that happened. And they're just trying to find, wow, how can we make the Oscars more how can we get people to talk about the Oscars? Oh, let's, talk about and analyze the Robert Downey Jr. Ke Huy Quan controversy. Oh my God, isn't that? It's like, I'm like, come on, it's not that big of a deal. Because then we see pictures afterwards, like there's even on one of the articles here, them hugging and stuff like that. I'm like, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Like, I just find it so funny. That's why I'm like, do I even talk about this? I'm like, to me, it's just so stupid. I'm like, I don't even know if I want to bother just wasting time, give my thoughts on it, because to me, it's really not that big of a deal. But, it is an entertainment podcast, and we're just talking about, the Oscars, of course, were a big thing. And honestly, I mean, like, none of us here listening can ever relate to what Robert Downey Jr. went through. No one here has won Oscars listening to this. I think he was more... Now, this is just, here's me overanalyzing it. I'm critiquing people for overanalyzing it. Here I am overanalyzing it. I think what happened was he was just so in the moment, because I don't know if he was expecting to win. I mean, like, we all knew he was going to win. I think there was lots of us who were thinking he was, because he won the Golden Globe, he won the SAG, and we were just expecting him to sweep up the Oscar too. And I think he was more so just like, holy shit, like, this is real, and he just didn't even think about it. I'm sure he probably sat back down afterwards and just said, oh shit, did I shake his hand? No, I didn't. But to me, it's not as severe as, Will Smith going on stage and slapping Chris Rock. My God, I'm sure there's more people out there defending what Will Smith did than Robert Downey Jr. Like, they're saying, oh, Will Smith he was defending his family, and then, well, Robert Downey Jr. is a monster for ignoring him. I'm like, oh. Anyway, it's just so stupid, and I just really think people just need to realize that people just like drama. That's all it is. And I mean, sure, I like drama too, but I mean, if it's unnecessary drama where it's like there's no drama, I mean, like, I was intrigued by the whole Will Smith Chris Rock thing, because to me it was kind of entertaining to see all this go on. But in this case, I'm like, there's no drama there. It's just Robert Downey Jr. walked on, took the award, didn't shake his hand. Was it rude? Yes, it was rude. He should have done it. But I don't think I just think people are making a mountain out of a molehill with it. And this is just the journalist's way and the public's way of how can we bring more negativity to the Oscars. And because the Will Smith and Chris Rock thing was so big, it made everyone talk about the Oscars. How can we make people talk about the Oscars now? Oh, let's paint Robert Downey Jr. as the bad guy. And I'm like, it's so dumb. But anyway, that's where I stand on that. People might think differently and think that, it was the worst thing ever. You think what you want, but I just think it's really not worth talking about, in my opinion. But anyways, at least let me know what you think about that. I covered it as one of our solo segments, so hopefully some people like that. Maybe some people are like, it's, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, I don't know what else to say about it, because it was so little, and I don't know why it is a big a deal as it is, but, I'm sure it's going to die out within the next little while. It's not even like big controversy, but it's like, it seems like people are trying to make it a bigger deal than it is. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for the show today. I want to thank my guests, Neil Wallace and Naomi Wallace. Guys, the Beaubears Island Sugar Bush, don't forget, this Saturday, March 23rd, newcomer early access 12 to 1, and then the regular event from 1 to 4 at the Bicentennial Park, Beaubears Island Interpretive Center. And be sure to come on out and support. It's going to be a great time. And thank you guys for listening. Hope you all had a great St. Patrick's Day. And hope you're enjoying 2024 so far. And I'll see you guys next week. Till then, it's Franky signing off. Have a good week and weekend.